Hello guys, welcome to today's live stream. So today I'm not going to be marking the title or anything. I'm just going to be explaining what I'm looking at, right? So I'm just going to do a quick walkthrough of what has happened and the trades I've also taken during this period, right? From London session. Right now we're in the New York session. So yeah. So starting off, we have gold here, and on gold you can see we have been having some um like we're expecting downwards movement, right? But it seems the trend is shifting. The buyers are now trying to take control. Actually, I think they've already taken control. So yeah, we know currently that gold overall in the structure, right? We have had a bearish break of structure, right? But the overall structure is actually bullish. So we are just following the internal structure, right? So quite possibly the shift is now starting and we are going to be having our bullish move, right? You can see how price rejected this liquidity point over here. It has been rejecting and playing around over here for quite some time. So yeah, we could be seeing a move to the upside, possibly to take out this liquidity point over here, right? Because we have had our break of structure, we have not had a 50% retracement, so we can't consider this as a swing break of structure, right? You can see I use dotted line, that means it's an internal structure. So we could be having our pullback, right, to take out liquidity before we continue lower. So for now, I'm bullish on XAUSD. I'm only looking at buys, right? Unless the trend shifts and does otherwise. So let's drop down to the 4-hour time frame so that we can see the trend shifting very well. Let's remove this. So on the 4-hour time frame, what do we have? We have price come down, right? We have had our break of structure. Price has been bearish for some time. It swept liquidity below this old low over here, right? And started having strong bullish momentum, which has taken out internal liquidity. So let's see if price takes out this high, right? That is when we confirm. If it takes out this high, that is when we confirm that the trend has shifted bullish, right? And we are now in the bullish phase, right? So currently we have taken out internal liquidity and we have retraced into a fair value gap. Oh, let me turn on my fair value gap so that I don't have to be drawing it every single time. Yeah. So we retraced into a fair value gap on the 4-hour and price is now rejecting it. So I'm very sure that is going to be what will push price higher to take out this high, right? If you had if you want, you could hold out the trade to take out liquidity above this high, right? And give us new the overall pullback, right? What am I doing? What am I doing? So that to give us the overall break of structure and then we get our moves. So right now we have traced into the fair value gap. So 1 hour the trade I took, right, is over here when price retraced into the fair value gap, right? We also retraced into an order block, right? This is the order block over here. I don't want to be drawing boxes and stuff anymore, so I'm just using lines. So we retraced into our order block and then we started pushing higher, but I dropped down to the 5 minutes time frame to watch where supply is failing and demand is taking control, right? So when I saw supply was failing and demand started, momentum started coming in. That's when I placed my entry. My target at the next liquidity point, right? If price comes over here, I'll just set break even and then we move, right? So that's it for XAU USD. Next, we'll be looking at Euro USD. So daily time frame Euro USD. Yeah. So Euro USD on the daily time frame. What do we have? We have price take out liquidity above this high. It also took out liquidity above this high and then it started dropping, right? So currently Euro USD I think is shifting to the bearish side, right? It wants to continue the overall bearish momentum, right? So that is what I'm looking at. Euro USD, I'm bearish. For today, I'm expecting price to come at least to take out this level right here, right? So I'm bearish on Euro USD. I've already placed a trade on Euro USD, but I'll be explaining it when we get to the lower time frames. Visibility. What am I doing? Okay, let's just remove the 4 hour. I don't want my position trading tool to be showing on the 4 hour time frame, right? So let's off this for a minute. Yeah. So what do we have over here? Price decrease into 4 hour fair value gap, right? And I refine the fair value gap to the 1 hour to get a precise range, right? So after we checked out this old low here, price gave off a very weak reaction, right? Which shows that the buyers are not in control at this point, right? So we just give off a small reaction, and the sellers took control again from the fair value gap. So how did the move start, right? We sweat liquidity into the fair value gap, right? So first we had a reaction from the fair value gap. Price came and then sweat liquidity in the fair value gap and then closed below it, right? And gave us bearish momentum. So I waited and waited and waited to see if the bearish momentum will continue to hold, right? And that is where I placed my entry. Stop loss around it was supposed to be a structural stop loss, but I don't want it to be so high to mess up my risk to reward because I didn't even expect price to come up that high, right? You can see the retracement only came up this high and then just drop. So yeah, I'm expecting it to continue to drop all the way, take out the 4 hour low, right? And then get a pullback, then continue to take out the daily low, right? So yeah, this is the trade I'm in on Euro USD. Over here, if price takes out the low, comes into this demand, I'll be looking to take break even, right? I don't want price to be closed back and then take me out. So I'll set be at that point, right? Yeah. So that's for Euro USD. Should we look at BTC? BTC, do you have anything? Okay, I took a trade on USD right today, so let me break down on that. For those in the Discord, I didn't actually say all this trades in my channel. I'm getting tired of sharing my trades over there. I'm getting tired. I've been doing this for a very long time. Almost, I think 2 years or so. I have to start monetize, right? Make some money. So USJPY, the daily time frame, right? We had price break structure, right? This is very funny price action, but whatever. So price broke structure, continued all the way up, came down to sweep liquidity into a fair value gap, right? And started giving off expansion candles, right? We started expanding, right? So during that expansion, price reacted from the supply zone over here, came down and continued up, right? Left a fair value gap over here, right? And later on, price retraced it into the fair value gap after sweeping liquidity and tapped into the daily order block. So we all know that daily order block holds it holds a lot of value, right? It's a very strong point if you are looking for buyers and sellers, right? A daily order block. It could be supply or it could be demand, but in our case, it's demand, right? So price retraced into that, and what confirmed that buyers are situated in this zone is the next day's candle closed bullish, right? And the following day also closed with a rejection, right? Sellers tried to push the price down, and the buyers took it back up and closed it a quarter, a very small candle, right? The next day ended up in the doji, and then yeah, prices consolidated a bit. You could already see that it's trying to go for this liquidity point over here. So when we move to the 4 hour time frame, you can see the price action clearly. You can see after we tapped into the order block, right? Price moved, came into another order block, price moved again. We broke structure over here, price came into the order block once more, right? Closed as a rejection candle, right? A bullish rejection, right? Sellers tried to sell, but the buyers just took control, right? And then started to push up, right? But the 1 hour time frame, you can actually see it very clearly. So 1 hour, this is what I was looking at when I was trying to look for my entry, right? We had a break of structure over here. We have liquidity over here. Price retraced into that liquidity. I missed the first entry, right? And then we had our internal break of structure over here, market structure shift, right? And price left the fair value gap. So as price retraced into the fair value gap, started consolidating, rejecting it. And I started seeing bullish, the bulls taking control at this point. That is when I placed my buy, right? When my stop loss below this point because I didn't expect price to come there and targeted the high, right? Yeah, the overall liquidity point. So that was the trade I took for U USD JPY. So today I've only taken three trades. I've only taken three trades today. Two currently running, right? Euro USD, UJ, and XAU USD. I didn't post any of these on the channel, but I'm interested. So yeah, I think that's it for today. I think that's it for today. I'm not gonna be looking at anything. Okay, yesterday's trade got taken out at B. Okay, it's fine. I don't really understand this pair. I don't really understand this pair. DXY, DXY is going for the next liquidity point. Yeah, nothing much. So that's it for today. I'll be ending the stream now. I think Educas has a stream in 15 minutes, so I don't want to mess up this time. I was very late today. I was supposed to be around 44 minutes earlier, right? 2 o'clock, but I missed my session, so 30 minutes late. So yeah, let me do some little advice. What am I saying? Let me do some little advertisement, right? I've started a YouTube channel, and I want you guys to follow me, right? I'll be posting analysis, landing session analysis and stuff, and some of the videos from here, right? So the channel name is Devi. Relax. Let me share my screen so that you guys can see. Admins, please don't ban me for this. Admin, please don't ban me for this. How do I change the? How do I change it? How do I change it? How do I change it? Oh, okay, okay, yeah, yeah. You guys can see that. So this is the channel, right? Davy FX. Davy FX. Currently having 72 subscribers, 11 videos. Right. I started this channel about close to a year ago. Right. So please follow. You can see we had our pre-session structure analysis. Right. Weekly analysis. What happens during landing opening. Yeah. So the channel is Davy underscore SMC. Sorry. Davy FX, right? At Davy underscore FX underscore SMC. If you can't find it, you can type in that you find it, right? So for those on YouTube to kindly like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.